Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to our subject Building Technology and Architectural Planning. I am your subject teacher, Professor Himne Chaitali. In previous lecture, we discussed about what is masonry, what are the types of masonry, what are the principal terms used in masonry, what is the I specification of masonry. Okay. Now in this lecture, we will discuss about what is the classification of the bricks, what is their supervision, what is their construction procedure. Okay, all these things we will discuss in this chapter. So the first classification of there are actually four classification of the brick, that is first class bricks, second class bricks, third class bricks, and fourth class bricks, or we called it as the Jhama brick. Okay, so the first class brick means what? The first class bricks which is having bricks are very sound, well burned, table molded, rectangular with sharp edges. So here is the word table molded. Here is the word table molded. What is table molded? You know, table molded means it is the molded bricks are made of the stiffer mud and which is used five-sided mold. The use of the lesser moisture during the molding leads to improve the shape and strength for the bricks. These bricks are then dried in shade and burned in continuous kiln. Okay, kiln means we call it as a bhatti. Okay, this is a popular form of the brick production in northern part of the India, and these bricks are much stronger. So it is used in a superior work. Also, they are having the surface is clean, smooth, and has no cracks. These bricks are very hard because these are the table molded. Okay, so these works is to be used. These bricks is to be used in a superior work or the high class work. Okay. Next is second class bricks. You can see here images of the second class brick. The second class bricks are burned in clamps and ground molded. First class bricks are molded in it table molded, but in second class bricks they are ground molded. Means their sacha, or we called it as the the shape is given in a ground. Okay, but with little bit irregular in shape. The shape is not regular. Surface is also rough and having spots in that brick. These bricks are hard and it is mainly used for the ordinary structure and also used to place where the brickwork is to be provided with plaster coat. Okay, so these bricks are mostly used for the interior work. You can see here image. The second class brick. The next is third class brick. See image of third class brick. These are the third class brick. You can see here that the third class brick are ground molded and burned in clamps. Its surface is very rough and disastered edges. You can see here the edges. Disaster edges. Okay, disaster edges. These bricks are oven burnt and slightly soft, and these bricks are used for the unimportant and temporary structure and at a place where rainfall is not heavy. That means it is used in floors, foundation roads. Okay, it is also used in brick chips. This is called as the third class brick. Okay, and the last brick is Jhama brick, or we can say that is fourth class brick. It is very oven burn bricks and its surface is irregular and have dark color. The bricks are very hard, but these bricks are used as a metal or aggregate for concrete, foundation, floors or roads, etc. The next is advantages of the bricks. What is the advantage of bricks? Why we have to use bricks? Because brick masonry is very cheaper than the compared to the stone masonry. Bricks are of in uniform sizes. Bricks are very workable, they are light in weight. Also the strength of the brick is very good, and there is no problem to its availability. It is available easily in all local areas. What are the disadvantage of the bricks? It is having a shrinkage cracks, or it requires more maintenance. Okay, the variation in the soil quality and hence the block quality. That means, the clay which we are used in a brick is not in the same area. It is having a different, it is collected from the different areas. That's why the chemical composition of that clay is very much differentiate. So that's why the quality of the block is also different. So that means what, the variation in the soil quality and hence the block quality is also different. Okay, lower strength than high quality fire bricks. There are one type of a brick that is called as a fire brick. The strength of these bricks are the very lower than the fire bricks, and this is not able to produce of the blocks on a site. These bricks are not produced on site. So these are the four advantage of the disadvantage of the bricks. Next is types of bond in brick masonry. First of all, we will see what is the bond. What is the function of the bond in masonry? What is the bond means what? The brick masonry consists of the bricks built to a firm walls. In order to hold the bricks in position and to improve the appearance of the wall, mortar is most of the used to between the bricks to form the joints. Okay, mortar is used to form the joints in the bricks. The bricks are held together to act as a single unit by the arranging them in such a specific manner that they rest over each other and break the continuity of the vertical joints. Okay, so that the continuity of the vertical joints, or it is held together in a single unit, is called as the masonry. Okay, so there are the four types of masonry. One is header brick masonry. There are four types of the bond. The one is header bond, second is stretcher bond, third is English bond, and fourth is Flemish bond. So first we will think about, or we will discuss about, what is the bond. What are the functions of the bond. So the first function of the bond is bricks or stones are held together due to bond. Bricks or stones are held together because of the bond. No matter it is header bond or stretcher bond or English or Flemish bond. Second is brickwork can be made as a single unit due to bond. Brickwork is done by the single unit due to bond. Okay, a bond will make a rigid wall structure. Also, it increases the compressive strength of masonry. It increases the compressive strength of masonry. It distributes the load uniformly over a large area of wall. Okay, it distributes the load uniformly over a large area of the wall. What happens if brickwork with no bond is available? It means brickwork without a bond. If we done brickwork without a bond, then what will happen? There will not be vertical joints in two successive layers in staggered manner. If bonds is not provided in masonry work, then the bricks or the stones will not be held together. Strength of the wall will be very less. Also, the load of the wall will not be distributed over a large area. Got it? Also, the durability is almost nil. So that's why the bond is very important in brick masonry. So we will discuss it one by one. You can see here, this is a stretcher bond. In this stretcher bond, second layer is above. In Flemish bond, you can see here, these bricks are provided in each layer. Okay, and in Flemish bond, you can see here the layer. See, in Flemish bond, this layer is different, this layer is different. Okay, see, you can see here, this is the header bond. Header bond. In this type of bond, all the bricks are laid with their ends toward the face of the wall. All bricks are end towards the face of the wall. You can see here. You can see here. Also this is the same, each layer is same, okay, each layer is same. In this type of bond, all the bricks are laid with their end towards the face of the wall. This type arrangement is suitable for the walls which are one brick thick. In this area, what? One brick is thick. One brick thick, and this is suitable for walls of lightly loaded load bearing structure. This type of header bond is suitable for the load bearing structures. Okay. The next is stretcher bond. So what is stretcher bond? You can see here the arrangement of the bricks. It's just like steps. Okay. This. You can see here like this. Okay. So what is stretcher bond? In this type of bond, all the bricks are laid with their length in the direction of the wall. Okay. You can see here the length in the direction of the wall. Length is increasing. Okay. Length is increasing. This pattern is used only for walls having the thickness of the half brick, that is 9 centimeter. Example, walls in the case of the frame structure construction. Okay, what happened in stretcher bond? Only half brick, that is the 9 centimeter brick is used in stretcher bond. Okay, where is the frame structure construction? Next is English bond. You can see here images of the English bond. See here the one brick is so much large, second layer is half, then next layer is large, second is half, then again next layer is large, second is half, likewise. Okay, what is English bond? This is the most common and popular bond, and it is used for the wall thickness ranging from 20 centimeter. Whereas the 20-meter thickness of the wall is considered, then that in this type English bond is used. It consists of the equal balancing of the header and stretcher in the wall. Okay, that is the header and stretcher are arranging in alternate courses. You can see here header, stretcher, header, stretcher. Wait. You can see here header, stretcher, header, stretcher. Okay, these are the alternate courses of the header and stretcher in the wall. When we are doing construction of the English bond, then some point that we have to remind, that is the queen closure must be provided after the queen header. I will show you after that the diagram of the queen closure, what is queen, what is a half brick, what is the king closure. Okay, I will show you it later one by one. Also, in English bond, continuous vertical joints should not be allowed. The joints in the header course should be made thinner than those in a stretcher course. Okay, the joints between the header course should be made with thinner than those in a stretcher course. Why this is done? Because of the fact that the number of vertical joints in the stretcher courses are half of the number of joints in the header courses. I will show you that this is the header course, this is a stretcher course, this is a header course, this is a stretcher course. Okay, so the fact is that number of the vertical joints in the stretcher course, are half of the number of the joints in the header course. Just a minute. Okay, this is called as the English bond. See, there are some rules also. Heading course should never start with a queen closure. Queen closure diagram I will show you. In stretcher course, the stretcher should have a minimum lap of 1/4 their length over the header. Means if the stretcher course is, when we started the stretcher course, the stretcher should have a minimum lap between lap between the starting header and the stretcher, the lap between should be 1/4 of their length. Okay. This is a Flemish pond. You can see here image of Flemish pond. This is a header, this is a stretcher, again this is a header, this is a stretcher. In next layer, this is a stretcher, this is a header, this is a stretcher, this is a header, likewise. Okay, this is called as Flemish pond. So what is the Flemish pond? There are the two types of Flemish pond. One is single Flemish pond, second is double Flemish pond. In this Flemish pond, the arrangement of the bonding of the brickworks in each course is consist of alternate headers and stretchers. Every alternate course start with a header at the corner. So what is the single Flemish pond? It is the combination of the English pond and Flemish pond resulting into new type of bond is called as a single Flemish pond. It is a combination of the English and Flemish pond. And it is a new type of bond, so it is called as a single Flemish pond. In this course, facing is Flemish and backing is English. In a previous lecture, we discuss about what is the facing, what is the face, what is the back, and what is the backing. Facing means the exterior wall in which the material we provided in the facing of the wall, and backing means the back side of the wall or the internal wall in which the material is provided. Okay, facing means where it is coming in contact with the weather, which comes in contact with the weather. Okay, so single Flemish pond. The facing of the wall there is a Flemish pond, and on the backing there is an English pond in each course. Okay, so what is the drawback of this bond? The drawback of this bond is that it cannot be used for the walls less than 1.5 brick in thickness. If there is a brick less than 1.5 of the brick, then this bond or this Flemish bond, single Flemish bond is not used. Okay, the next is, see here, you can see it is provided for the attractive appearance of the Flemish bond. The next is double Flemish bond. It is a typical type of a Flemish pond in which there is the same appearance in each course can be seen in the front face and in back face. That the single Flemish bond we discussed that in a front face. Okay, in a front face what happened? In the wall this is front face is of inner facing, that is a Flemish pond, and in backing there is English pond. But in double Flemish pond, it is typical type of Flemish pond in which there is the same appearance in each course. In facing and backing there is the same appearance. Or either it is in English pond or either it is in Flemish pond. Okay. That means what? The facing and backing side is same in each course. Also in Flemish pond what happened? The header and stretcher are laid in each course alternately. And double Flemish bond shows the better looking or better appearance than English bond. Okay. But this type of bonding is comparatively weaker than English bond. The next topic is what are the principal terms or the brick masonry construction, what point you have to be considered in brick masonry construction. Okay. See, there are actually 23 rules that what we have to check in a brick masonry construction or what we have to observe in brick masonry construction. Okay. So in brick masonry construction, before using the brick in construction, it should be checked for its physical properties. What physical properties? Such as its strength, its dimension, its water absorption capacity. Okay. The second is, the brick must conform to the designer specification as stated in the project documents. In the project document, if there is a written that you have to use the first class bricks, then you have to use compulsorily, you have to use the first class bricks. Or in design specification there is a mention in note mention that you have to use in this area a fire bricks. So compulsory you have to use that fire bricks in that construction site. Okay. And as you know that the bricks absorb the water, and we also need the water in mortar to ensure the proper hydration reaction for the curing of the mortar. Thus, prior to use the brick in construction, it should be soaked in water for sufficient time so that the water is penetrate the whole depth of the brick. Okay, water will penetrate the whole depth of the brick. That's why it should be soaked at least for 24 hours. Okay. Then what? After the completion of the soaking period, brick should be removed from water and allowed to become surface dry before using construction. Okay, you don't have to use that bricks as it is. Wet bricks are not allowed in construction. Okay, its surfaces should be become dry and then you can use it in a construction. And when we have to when we have used a brick in construction, then always remember that the frog should be facing upward. Okay, bricks having its frog, na? That frog is facing, not frog. Okay, that frog is facing upward direction. The next criteria that brick masonry construction should be considered that always let the brick having its frog facing upward. The mortar should completely cover the bed and sides of the bricks. Remember that the mortar should completely cover the bed, that means upper part, and also the sides of the brick. Okay. Also there is one rule that no cavity should be left in between the bricks, joints of the bricks. So it is properly filled with the mortar. Okay. The next criteria is, actually I am writing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but there are the 20 criteria which I will explain it one by one. So after that, brickwork construction should be started from its end or the corner, and it should be carried out perfectly in line, means it should be horizontal or it should be in proper in a line. Okay. The brickwork should be perfectly in level. Brickwork should be perfectly in level. So we can use with the help of plumb bob. Okay. With the help of plumb bob or the spirit level, we can adjust or we can level that brickwork or that brick wall. Okay. The next is, check the vertical faces of the brickwork by means of a plumb bob and check the inclined surface by means of the wooden templates. Okay. Brick bond as suggested by the designer should be adopted. What type of bond you have to use? The designer already suggested that you have to use the English bond, Flemish bond or stretcher bond, header bond, whatever it is. Okay. As far as possible, try to use less number of brick bats. Brick bats means what? It is the pieces of the bricks. So as far as possible, try to use less number of brick bats. Okay. Mortar of required consistency should be used during of the construction. The amount of mortar per use should be so prepared that it can be used within the 30 minutes. If any mortar is older than the 30 minutes, it should not be used. Okay. The mortar should be used within the 30 minutes. It should not be used older than 30 minutes. In case cross wall is to be inserted later, strap or toothing we will discuss, was discussed in a previous lecture, that what is toothing. So or recesses should be provided during construction. Okay. In case of cross wall is to be inserted later, means if we have to done a construction after a while in a brick work, then there is a step of straps or toothing should be provided during construction. That's why the bonding of the next brick work should be very proper and harder. Okay. Also at the plinth, window, sill, floor level, roof level and at the top of the parapet wall, the brick course should be laid with brick on edge. Got it? At plinth, window, sill, floor level and roof level, and at the top of the parapet wall, the brick core should be laid with bricks on edge. Also, there are the such as a there are the fixtures, that is a hold fast for doors and windows, should be embedded in cement mortar or in cement concrete. Also, there are the 2-3 rules that if no plaster has to be done on a wall surface, then joints in the wall surface should not be racked at all. Okay, at every 30 minute to 45 at every 30 meter to 45 meter length of wall, provide expansion joint of about 18 mm to 25 mm. So that's why it will gain a strength, or it will become harder. After construction of the brick masonry, it should be cured properly for a period of 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, it should be cured properly for the period of 1 to 2 weeks. म्हणजे पाणी मारायचं तुम्ही त्याला ब्रिक मॅसनरीला 2 ते 3 weeks. Okay. So these are all the principles in brick masonry construction. Okay, the next part is supervision. This is very important part when you are going to the site, what you have to observe or what supervision you have to done in the time of brick masonry or brick work is done. The first one is soaking of the bricks, second is maintaining the wet surface area of the brickwork, third is the proper horizontal first spread course, proper mortar mix proportion, proper lap and vertical joints, split level and plumb bob checkings, racking joints of the brick masonry, and also the curing of the brick masonry. So we will discuss it one by one. The first is soaking of the brick. So why we have to need to soaking of the brick? I discussed in the previous slide the soaking of the brick. So soaking of the brick was a very important activity and contributes to the strength of the brick masonry. When bricks are soaked into the clean water, then it gets saturated and the air particle, dust and dirt are removed. Okay, when we use the soaked bricks, it will not absorb the water from water and enough strength from the mortar is obtained. So generally the soaking period of the bricks is 12 hours. Okay. What happens, in modern days, the construction, a big building construction, the soaking huge amount of bricks was not possible. So in these cases, water was sprayed over the bricks and it shall be done for the period of 5 to 8 hours. Okay. The next is maintain the wet surface area of the brickwork. You know that secondly, any surface before starting brickwork must be properly wetted in order to get a good bond between the old surfaces to the new course of the brickwork. So this must be done at least 10 minutes before starting of the brickwork. So the water shall be sprayed on the surface of this purpose. Okay. So why the area of the surface should be wet? Because for the proper bonding. The next is proper horizontal first bed course. When the first course of the brickwork is going to be started, it shall be in perfect horizontal level. This would be done by filling the enough mortar to the bed course to even the undulations, and always the first course of the brickwork must be carefully watched by the supervision or a site engineer to ensure the perfect horizontal axis. This ensures the proper horizontal level of all successive brickwork courses. Okay, so you should have to first, as a site engineer, your first duty is that the bed is properly horizontal or not. You have to check it. The next is proper mortar mix proportion. The mortar used for the brickwork shall always possess the good workability and strength. In order to get the good workability and strength, the mortar shall be properly mixed with a good ratio of the sand, cement, lime, fly ash, whatever, and enough water. Okay. You know that the plain cement concrete for brick masonry, generally the cement mortar 1:5 ratio would be used for brick masonry. The water cement or the lime or the fly ash ratio shall be 0.50. If enough water is not used for the mix preparation, the mortar becomes the crumble after the brickwork. So there should be the proper mortar mix proportion. Okay. The next is proper lap and vertical joints. What are the proper lap and vertical joints? You can see here image checking vertical levels in brick masonry. So the proper lap and vertical joints are ensured to get the bond between each layer of the brickwork. A joint that is parallel to the bed course is termed as a lap joint. The joint that is parallel to the bed course. You can see here a joint that is parallel to the bed course. Is termed as a lap joint. This is called as a lap joint. Generally, a lap joint shall be below the half of the width of the brick. A joint which is perpendicular to the bed course is termed as a vertical joint. You can see here, this is a vertical joint. Okay. Therefore, these vertical joints are continuously provided in the alternative layer of the brickwork. It is not provided continuously in a single line to all layers. Got it? Okay. The next is split level and plumb box checking. After that, you have to check with the help of split level and the plumb bob. Without use of the split level and plumb bob, the level of the brickwork will not be uniform. Hence, for each and every layer of the brickwork, the horizontal level of the placing bricks shall be checked by using the split level, and the same way the vertical level of the placing bricks shall be checked by the using plumb bob. Okay. The next is racking joints of the brickwork. Where the plastering is required, the mortar is removed up to 1 to 1.5 cm from the brickwork, which is termed as a racking joint. You got it? What is a racking joint? You have to remove some extra mortar for the plastering purpose. That is 1 to 1.5 cm of the brickwork. That is called as a racking joint. This racking joint helps to bind the plaster to the brickwork. Okay. And the last is curing of the brick masonry. That finally for any kind of construction, curing plays a very important role in a good lifespan. So the proper and enough curing helps to achieve the desired strength of mortar used. Thus the brickwork as whole. So generally in brick masonry, curing is done by spraying the water at regular intervals. So it is depending on the atmospheric humidity. Minimum 3 times in a day, water shall be sprayed on the brickwork. Therefore, before plastering, the brickwork shall be cured for a minimum 10 days, and after plastering, it may take a minimum 7 days to attain the enough strength. Okay. So have you understood all these things? What is the supervision we have to done as a site engineer or a supervisor? What are the, in construction, what we have to checklist test, or what we have to think that in construction site, what we have to observe, or what we have to do. Okay. So in next lecture we will discuss about what is the underpinning, what are the latest formworks or appears, or what are the latest formworks we used in a construction site. Okay. If you have any doubts regarding this chapter, you can ask directly on Google Classroom or on my personal number. Okay. And I am giving you some assignments related to this 2-3 topics. So please complete it on time. And please watch this all video for better understanding. I am sending you in Google Classroom, PPT and video also. Okay. So thank you and have a good day.